It was meant to mark the start of something fresh. Rather, it may mark the conclusion of one. The Cleveland Browns, who were once again on the cusp of greatness, are currently embroiled in what may be the most visible and contentious quarterback dispute in more than 10 years. Go ahead and subscribe if you enjoy the real tale and all the untidy turns that aren't included in highlight clips. Additionally, you should certainly subscribe if you want to stay tuned to watch how this Browns quarterback crisis unfolds. Pick flaming out in the first round. No, this time it's about Shedeur Sanders, a rookie in the 5th round, outperforming everyone else but still being ordered to wait for his chance. He's finished waiting now. Sanders formally collapsed after weeks of being sidelined, despite dominating teammates and veterans alike during training camp. Not in a tearful locker room tantrum, but in the most dignified, professional, and damning manner imaginable. He formally demanded a trade and called out the Browns coaching staff by name. Shedeur Sanders did more than simply rock the quarterbacks room in the process. The entire league was rocked by him. Let's go back. Sanders has subtly destroyed the Browns' depth chart in every way but title throughout the first 3 days of camp. Live repetitions, pinpoint precision, poise at the highest level, and precise readings. He gave the impression that rookie project quarterbacks were still learning their playbooks and that experienced arms were rusty. The nicest thing is that he wasn't trying to make headlines. He requested salespeople, but they never showed up. Sanders was restricted to the 2nd and 3rd teams, even though he outperformed everyone else. No 2-minute drill reps, no first-team snaps, no chance to get to know the starting lineup. Only rumors about rookie patience and developmental deadlines. The problem is that Shedeur Sanders doesn't require further development. He requires a chance. Sanders then went up to head coach Kevin Stefanski during practice on day 3, when he reportedly outran the defense of the 2nd team with 3 touchdown drives, including a 45-yard bomb that was dropped precisely in stride. Not with sentimentality or conceit, but with facts. Additionally, some people close to the squad claim that he uttered the silent portion aloud. This has nothing to do with football. Politics is at play here. Then he revealed the shocking information. Trade me if this is how you manage your staff. Boom. It was an open and honest moment. However, it was more than simply annoyance. It was a challenge, a message, and a mirror held up to a team that has a history of making poor quarterback assessments. And it looks like it will happen again in 2025. Chaos ensued. A meeting with Stefanski and the Browns' general manager behind closed doors right away. A heated phone conversation with the owner, news outlets being notified within hours, and a franchise being abruptly asked a very awkward question. Are we undermining our best athlete? For this is the uncomfortable reality. Should the most gifted quarterback on that roster be Shedeur Sanders? It is visible to anyone viewing camp. The mechanics are well maintained. The time is right for the NFL. The choice was made years ahead of schedule. Despite not being selected in the 3rd round or given a multi-million-dollar veteran contract, he continues to be treated like a practice squad project. Shedeur sees it for what it is. A contrived hierarchy founded on contracts rather than rivalry. This isn't only a Browns problem, let's face it. It affects the whole NFL. Development timelines are used as justifications to prevent the real best players from endangering the ones who have already been paid. Coaching staff is scared to upset the status quo, and general managers are defending their own draft reputations. However, that dysfunction has escalated to unprecedented levels in Cleveland, because ownership and coaching are now at war rather than merely mismatched. According to those close to the team, Jimmy Haslam, Browns owner, is incensed over Sanders' mistreatment. According to reports, Haslam views Shedeur as the face of the brand waiting to happen and a presence of generational leadership. Stefanski, however, is holding fast to his playbook progression plan because he is afraid of firing a rookie before he declares it his time. Due to the front office civil war, GM Andrew Barry is in an untenable predicament as a result of that philosophical divide. Advocate for Sanders at the risk of offending the owner, weakening the coaching staff, and protecting the Stefanski, the changing area. The quarterback now has all the power. Leverage, indeed. Because, despite being a rookie, Sanders is not a gullible 21-year-old looking for favors. He is a player, a businessman, a brand, and most importantly, he has a strong college background, unquestionable charm, and a surge of popular support. Already, social media has taken sides. Highlights are being reposted by players. Terms like "play the kid" and "free Shedeur" are being used by fans. The Browns' reasoning is being questioned by the national media. Additionally, front offices are scurrying around the league like sharks because half of the league wants to sign Shedeur Sanders if he becomes available. Teams with erratic locker rooms in need of a leader to unite around, teams with elderly veterans, and teams that missed out on quarterbacks in the draft. Sanders is a genuine on-field asset and a walking PR victory because of his unique combination of talent, maturity, and marketability. The Browns are also ignoring it in some way because they are afraid to acknowledge that the depth chart may not be accurate. But since the influence on the locker room is so great, let's talk about it. Gamers, take note. They see who earns it, who arrives early, and who stays late. And based on what we've heard, Shedeur Sanders deserved it. He's the one who makes after-hours calls to recipients. He's in charge of the scout team and treats it like the playoffs. In between reps, he is the one who breaks down coverages with defensive veterans. He already serves as the locker room's emotional focal point. On paper, he is still QB3 though. There are repercussions from that distance. The players are perplexed. A few people are annoyed. Others are also subtly beginning to doubt the strategy. Because what does it mean for the others if he doesn't get promoted after surpassing everyone else? That is how trust is damaged. The scenario isn't merely a rookie demanding a trade moment because of that degradation. It's a problem of culture. Because the Browns won't simply lose Shedeur if they once more let politics overshadow performance. The locker room will be lost. Free agents will leave them. They will no longer have the credibility they have worked so hard to regain from their insignificance. And this may be the start of the end for Stefanski. Personnel choices are the life and death of head coaches. You risk more than just a few games if you choose the wrong quarterback. You jeopardize your employment. Additionally, Stefanski is currently on the wrong side of history. Due to Shedeur's indisputable skill, he is a charismatic leader. A new time frame is being imposed by his play. And your system is flawed if it is. Unable to adjust to that, where do we proceed from here then? The first option is to trade Shedeur. Allow him to join a team that appreciates him. Accept the PR meltdown, the fan fury, and the reality that you lost yet another talented quarterback due to your own intransigence. The second option is to hand him in the race. Swallow your pride and promote him. Declare to the locker room that you are prioritizing performance above politics at last, and might, just possibly, begin to win games. Option 3. Take no action. Allow the tension to build. Before the season begins, watch it collapse. I hope nobody else asks for a trade. Please be patient, fans. They won't. Spoiler warning. Because it won't be a silent exit if they let Shedeur Sanders walk. It will be a statement, a proclamation that if you weren't handpicked by the proper people, you won't ever get a fair opportunity, regardless of how talented you are, how hard you work, or how obviously you outshine the guys ahead of you. Furthermore, it's not just a Browns issue. It's a cultural issue. To be clear, this isn't some arrogant rookie who wants to be famous after only one spectacular session. At every level, this player has surpassed expectations. Initially against professional defenders and in front of league scouts at Jackson State, then Colorado, and most recently in the NFL's own backyard. There's no tantrum here. It's a measured someone who understands exactly what he offers to the table, makes a deliberate power move. Who else, in his early career, made such a premeditated demand? Quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts were all first discounted, questioned, and maintained lower on the depth chart for non-performance-related reasons. And what were they doing? After a little period of waiting, they seized control. They made it hard to ignore them, not because someone gave them the task. That is the strategy shaders are using. Cleveland is currently in danger of being the first team to blink. Because we shouldn't fool ourselves. Someone will start him tomorrow if they trade him. Vegas, Tampa Bay, Washington, and Atlanta. Teams looking for a spark in front offices with unclear quarterback futures. They will give Shedeur a chance because of the momentum he already possesses, in addition to what he offers on the field. The Browns will be left with a split locker room, an openly dissident fan base, and a coaching staff that lost badly when they gambled on politics. This is the reason this story is so explosive. It goes beyond simply unfairly benching one guy. It concerns what occurs when an NFL team fosters a culture of fear rather than rivalry. When plans for growth are accepted as gospel. When the evident truth on the field is subordinated to the politics of coaching allegiance and draft rank. Anybody with eyes may tell that Shedeur Sanders is prepared. He is prepared to lead not just in terms of his physical, mental, emotional, and cultural capabilities. Do you want evidence? Take a look at his response to this pressure. Has he resorted to social media to vent? No. Has he disregarded his teammates? No. Has he been leaking information to the media or pouting on the sidelines? Not at all. He has arrived at work, completed his tasks, remained late, led softly, carried out his duties loudly, and only did so after being obstructed. He didn't speak out until he had proven himself in every quantifiable manner. He realizes how valuable he is, not for attention or ego. And let's take a moment to discuss it. Worth. Shedeur Sanders is more than simply a running back. He is a brand. Among rookies, his jersey is already among the best-selling. He has a huge social following. He naturally attracts media attention. He is viewed by sponsors as a contemporary celebrity. It's not just about flash either. It all comes down to connection. His fans sense him. His teammates hold him in high regard. In a time when celebrities are too manicured, he is genuine. Here's the problem though. There eyes more than one possible quarterback for the Browns. They might serve as the franchise's spokesperson. They're also making mistakes. Why? BBECI bothers the coaching staff to be informed that their developmental schedule is incorrect. They selected the quarterback 3 rounds earlier because certain assistant coaches are still faithful to him. Stefanski fears that he will have to modify the strategy to accommodate a non-traditional person. What else doesn't suit the description? Cleveland victory. Because it was precisely the chin. Last time this team had a quarterback under center who was both genuinely steady and explosive. They will thus let politics to get in the way when someone who could truly be that person eventually shows up. It's puzzling. While Shedeur is quietly rising and the organization is noisily floundering, the rest of the NFL is observing all of this. Other players are taking notes as well. Don't be shocked if free agents start looking elsewhere if the Browns treat this youngster badly. When veterans begin accepting shorter contracts to get away from the turmoil, the problem has devolved into a referendum on organizational identity. When agents begin to direct their clients away from a franchise that blatantly disregards fairness or on-field performance. Do the Browns want to be the club that finally recognizes talent for what it is, regardless of who can attest to it or where it was drafted? Or, out of pride, do they wish to be the squad that continues to use a flawed model? Without a doubt, they will lose more than a quarterback if they don't go in quickly. they will no longer be trusted. Furthermore, no locker room can endure without trust. You sense it slipping already. According to reports, veteran players are perplexed. Younger men are inquiring. The fact that one of the only people in camp who truly delivers is the one being muted even irritates defensive captains. And that kind of doubt spreads when it appears. It has an impact on preparedness. Morale is drained. It results in fourth quarter collapses, checked out procedures, and finger pointing. All because a high-ranking official was too obstinate to acknowledge that they had a star behind clipboard duty. Here's the problem about stars, though. In any case, they sparkle. Shedeur Sanders is pressuring the Browns, whether they choose to acknowledge it or not. Additionally, they are feeding a narrative they will never be able to escape with every second they put off and every practice they waste acting like he isn't ready. Additionally, he and the supporters will remember, if he's traded, you can be sure that he will use as motivation if he remains. Every hint, every rep he was denied, and every justification offered. When he eventually has a chance, he will recall everything. And it won't only be a victory for him when he does. Everyone who advised him to wait would lose out. Cleveland, now is your chance. Your quarterback lead, the flexibility to adjust, the charm to engage, and the strength to stand up when it matters. You could continue playing politics and watch the future go away, or you could ride the wave and eventually create something tangible. There's no doubt about it. Should Shedeur Sanders be aware of his value? Currently, the query is, do you let's not mince words? A team either develops or breaks under its own weight at this point, because Shedeur Sanders is revealing more than just bad management in Cleveland at the time. It's the inertia of generations. The Browns have been caught in seemingly endless cycle of nearly and maybe for decades due to the same poisonous decision-making loop. Furthermore, although supporters are as unique, the Browns genuinely has the talent this time. The man is with them. They're still struggling somehow. Shedeur is more than just another rookie quarterback being forced to wait his time, which is why the whole situation has blown up. He is a reflection. The Browns front office, coaching staff, and fan base were all seen in a mirror. A mirror reflecting every poor decision and every year lost. Additionally, you can already sense the fan base if they wager on a system rather than the appropriate person. The disappointment is exploding. Starter posts abound on social media. He is no longer asked if he should play on the local sports radio. It asks why in the world he hasn't already. These days, the conversation is about more than simply talent. It has to do with existence, because incompetence is no longer an issue. When a team keeps selecting the incorrect quarterback and eventually finds someone exceptional, but denies it, you're battling self-defeating behavior. Let's also discuss the other viewpoint. Throughout it all, Sanders has maintained his calm. The narrative in the media would want to portray him as egotistical and a rookie who doesn't know where he fits in. But the evidence contradicts this. Sanders has done everything correctly since draft day. Won the respect of the locker room by being early, staying late, conducting astute interviews, and praising his teammates. He earned the attention with his performance rather than asking for it. Therefore, there wasn't drama when he eventually spoke up, confronted the coach, and said, "Trade me if this is how it's going to be." Clarity was that. That was the sound of a player pushing himself professionally, not emotionally. Remember that this isn't your typical rookie scenario. Shedeur is not a latecomer with undeveloped skill and nah brand. This player has a vast empire at his disposal. Yes, he is Dian Sanders' kid, but he is also a self-made collegiate standout with the intelligence of a vet and the composure of a person twice his age. By the weekend, this man may likely have a QB one place in another city, a shoe contract, and a documentary. He might go tomorrow. You can bet that the phones are ringing if you don't think that other NFL clubs are drooling at the idea you're having. Like hawks, general managers from clubs in need of a quarterback keep their eye on every Browns press conference. Watch to see if Cleveland makes a mistake and makes this child accessible. And it's game over if they do. Draft choices will be offered by someone. Few will most likely provide instant beginnings. And what the Browns damaged will be fixed by someone else. Because Cleveland's situation is more than just a mistake. It's a teaching moment. An example of how not to deal with a contemporary quarterback. The NFL is no longer the same. These days, quarterbacks are more than simply arms. They are leaders, connectors, cultural creators, and brands. These players are not developed in the same manner as quarterbacks were in 2003. They require reps. Yes, but they also require genuine faith and investment from the company, not just token or superficial support. While trotting out inferior players before them, we are assessing each player's claims. And it is now the biggest smack in the face. Shedeur Sanders is witnessing increasing opportunities for less talented people. That isn't progress. Politics is that. Coaches are fired for the same reason. The reason why players walk is the same. Locker rooms break for the same reason. Let's zoom out even further then. Since the entire matter is a component of a larger discussion that is taking place within the league. The contemporary rookie quarterback is on the rise. These men don't arrive with blank resumes and open eyes. Before they even took an NFL snap, these individuals had national profiles, zero deals, and personal brands. They are constructed differently, and it will steamroll a franchise if they aren't prepared for it. At the head of the wave is Shedeur. And rather than acknowledging that the Browns are attempting to hide it behind development plans and playbooks, it won't work because the more they impede him, the more blatantly dysfunctional it gets. Every missed first-team appearance makes news. Another viral video with Shedeur appearing better than the men in front of him appears every second-string throw. Every silent news conference after practice in which Stefanski dodges a query regarding the quarterback's quarters only serves to stoke the flames. Fans aren't the only ones taking notice. The players are to blame. The murmurs have already reached us. Colleagues were quietly irritated. Defenders with experience question why the child isn't getting more runs. Receivers are openly pleading with him to include them in drills. Momentum, like never goes away, it grows. And when it happens, it becomes a crisis of leadership rather than a personnel issue. Seasons will be ruined if the locker room determines Shedeur is the person, but the staff is unwilling to take that risk. Let's look to the future. The Browns must make a decision. The front office and locker room may finally be aligned once they start. Sanders acknowledges that he deserves it. Accept the PR victory, unite the squad, allow him to lead, and take a chance on some growing pains. Exchange Sanders. Reduce your losses. Allow another group to realize his full potential. For the remainder of the season, let him go and prepare for the reaction from the fan base. Take no action. Continue acting as though the depth chart makes sense. Let the dispute linger. Watch a promising season fall apart from the inside out as the locker room breaks apart. The option to not have a reset button is not available. Once confidence is lost, there is no miraculous restoration of order. When a player asks out, it's a fire alarm rather than a light switch. Good luck signing the next quarterback when the league realizes Cleveland was unable to retain a franchise quarterback. And Shedeur will be all right. He'll ball wherever he lands. He will get reps. In 2 weeks, he will conquer that locker room. He will perform just as he has done from the beginning. Winning the press conference is not necessary for him. On the field, he wins. And everybody who is paying attention understands that he has already been hired, which is why the issue is so frustrating. Simply said, the Browns haven't acknowledged it yet. However, they will. Perhaps it will follow yet another lackluster showing from their favorite guy. Perhaps following a mid-season collapse. after they swap Shedeur and see him light it up someplace else perhaps, or perhaps if they're wise tomorrow. Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting any longer though, because time is running out.